Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Today we've got a few little topics to go through, and we're just going to go straight into it. Starting off with the first one, it's an update from Fabrizio Romano, and he says Raphinha situation. Barcelona agreed personal terms with Raphinha, but no agreement with Leeds. Arsenal in direct negotiations with Leeds and interested since March. Both Chelsea and Tottenham have been in contact too. Fee could be around 65 to 75 million. So quite clearly that is a lot of money, right? 65 to 75 million is probably more than Chelsea are wanting to spend on anyone this summer, unless we're going to go out and get like a Declan Rice, which is really just not going to happen, it seems. 65 to 75 million. Raphinha, looking at him, he's 25 years old, so not a youngster by any means, but Premier League proven at this point. In a team like Leeds, who, bottom half of the Prem table, you'd expect, if he came to Chelsea, he outputted 11 goals, 3 assists in 35 games. So definitely more of a goal scorer than a creator, which is probably what Chelsea need. If we're going to bring in Dembele, Sterling, they can create, and Raphinha can finish. Whether he's, the out-and-out striker that we need going through the middle, definitely not. You can see on his heat map, he's far more right-sided than he is through the middle. His strengths are long shots, direct free kicks and playmaking. Weaknesses can be ball control, so not ideal there. What do I think of this one? I personally think for 65-75 million this year, Chelsea can do better for less. Raphinha, an absolute gem of a player. I would love to have him at Chelsea. I think he'd be brilliant. But for that price, I just don't think we should do it this year. Now, if next year it comes down and he stays there, and it was 40 million, something like that, then I'd be a lot more interested. But, looking at up to 75 million, that is a crazy amount of money, in my opinion, for us to go spending on Raphinha. Now, of course, he's putting up good numbers in the Prem already, 11 goals, 3 assists. Keeping in mind, though, those numbers aren't guaranteed to go up. Like, you imagine, okay, he goes to Chelsea, he'll get better chances, better opportunities. Possibly, but you have to remember that teams play differently against Chelsea than they do against Leeds. Leeds are a very open team. They'll push on the attack with many bodies forward and leave themselves exposed at the back, so the game's a bit of back and forth. Whereas Chelsea, teams come up to play against us and they put 8, 9, 10 men in the box when we're attacking, because they know if we can keep them away from our goal, keep them at a distance, there's not really that much they can do. Now, his long shots could be key in, helping us unlock some defenses like that. It's okay. If you want to sit back, then we've got a guy that can bang one in from 30 yards out, so there's good elements about him that could fit at Chelsea, but for 65 to 75 million, I personally think Chelsea can do better, and I don't think we need to spend that much on an attacker this year. Just my personal opinion. Let's move on to the next one. Let me know what you guys think on that one, by the way. Then I'm sure you guys have seen, I did do a previous video where we had a report from H. Grimes that basically said that this deal was done, and now Fabrizio Romano is on it as well, saying Lukaku returns to Inter, here we go, and confirmed. Agreement now signed, and the loan deal is until 2023, so a 1-year loan deal. 8 million in euros plus add-ons, so we don't know how much that would add up to. The add-ons are related to team performances, so if they, win the league, top 4, Champions League, whatever it might be, that's when those add-ons will increase. So you're looking at maybe, I think it'll be between 10 to 15 million total, maybe like 12, 13 million is what Chelsea can get most out of this. Salary will be around 8 million, and I believe that's covered by Inter, and then it says no buy option or obligation clause. So there's some other reports that have come out as well explaining this no buy option, because for Chelsea, really, obviously this situation was never going to go well, but this kind of seems awful for Chelsea in this regard. It's not great, but this no buy obligation or clause, apparently there's going to be this loan. You can't sign players on 2-year loans anymore. So what's going to happen is he'll take this loan, the same loan will probably be repeated again next year, and then Inter will look to buy him, and there might be a buy obligation clause in the next loan. That's apparently what the situation is currently at. Things develop over time, so who knows, maybe things will change in the future. But this man right here is basically now an Inter Milan player, will be going forward, getting what he wants. Inter will get what they want, and Chelsea will be screwed, having made 8 million off of Lukaku in euros, when we ended up paying 100, whatever it was. So absolutely awful scenario for Chelsea, but you've got to sometimes cut your losses, and Romelu Lukaku not being around this team, being the snake that he is definitely a good thing for Chelsea. And it hurts. The financial side of this sucks for Chelsea, but we've been screwed over. I don't think this is necessarily an oversight from anyone at the club. I think it comes down to this man. I don't know if Inter were really in on it. I think this guy just sold himself and was sold a dream, maybe by his agent and such. But this guy made the decision to come back to Chelsea, made the decision to, make the whole, it's like, I want to be like Drogba at Chelsea, all that sort of crap, and ultimately didn't perform and went to cry back and go to where he is comfortable in a Serie A league that's obviously a lot easier to play in. So if you want to blame anyone, blame Lukaku. I don't think anyone at Chelsea is really to blame for this. How can you foresee a player deciding, yeah, I'll move to you, yeah, this is the dream transfer, I want to come back, it's going to be a dream story. Actually, no, I want to go back. We paid 100 million for you? Well, unlucky, I want to go back, and I'm going to kick up a fuss until I get it. Absolutely scum human, in my opinion. He's screwed us over big time, so goodbye Lukaku. Never want to see him in a blue shirt again. Then next up, we have Chelsea forward in advanced talks to leave club on loan this summer, and it's not Romelu Lukaku. Now this one's interesting. If we go further down into this, it says, however, he may not be the only one, as journalist, that's his name, via Insider Milan reports that Hakim Ziyech could follow his teammate to Italy. It wouldn't be with Inter though, but rather with their rivals AC Milan. The report claims that a loan fee of about 4.3 million is on the table, while a £17 million buy option could be included. It's not sure whether it will materialise, but we'll see basically. So Ziyech, which is, I understand that he hasn't exactly lit it up at Chelsea, right? He's not untouchable. Chelsea might want to sell him. But I'm surprised to see that Chelsea are maybe considering, or we've got an offer for him to go away on loan, only making 4.3 million pounds off of it, and I assume the wages being covered. And then if they want to buy him, only 17 million is what AC Milan can throw up, and they think that will tempt Chelsea. I don't think there's any chance that 17 million gets accepted. And as for the loan with a 4.3 million, I think if that was to happen, it would only be because Chelsea have the opportunity to buy Raheem Sterling for 35 million, whatever it might be, and they get Ousmane Dembele, and they need to sort of get someone out. But we want to keep maybe Ziyech on as a Chelsea player, but send him out on loan and see how the year develops. Maybe then after that we decide, we don't want Sterling, get Ziyech back, whatever it might be. Chelsea just, this one does not seem like a good option for Chelsea. We make basically nothing. We lose a creative player, he's not the best in the team by any means, but a solid player at times that should improve as time goes on at Chelsea. For me, this one's just a big no-go. I wouldn't let Ziyech go for anything near that sort of money. If we make our money back or some profit on it, then maybe I'd consider it, but for this, no chance. Then next up, we have a report saying Aston Villa now know Chelsea could sell their fantastic player for 30 million. It says, according to Birmingham Live, Steven Gerrard's side are interested in adding the Blues man to the signing of Boubacar Kamara in midfield. Apparently, he's valued at about 30 million, and that's what Chelsea are going to ask should anyone go in for him. But it says Thomas Tuchel is, looking to give him a chance. So personally, I don't see this one happening at all. 30 million wouldn't be enough for Conor Gallagher, in my opinion, given the potential he's shown in the Premier League. And Chelsea need him in the midfield. I think he'd be a brilliant player, and we'll see in this next year how he develops in this year and going forward. He's only 22 years old, obviously, as it says there. So, Aston Villa interested. We know Crystal Palace are interested. They're going to come in with offers of about 30 million is what the reports are saying. For me, Chelsea, hold firm. Do not let Conor Gallagher go, and especially not for 30 million. I think he could go for a lot higher than that, given his potential. We've seen the goal-scoring ability from midfield. That's not an easy thing to come by. So for me, no chance. Don't let it happen, Chelsea. Then we have a report here saying basically that Ian Matson could be leaving. And it's come down here, it says, obviously he's had his times out on loan, and he's been fairly promising at times. It says, Sport Witness have translated quotes from Holland which claim that the 20-year-old has already agreed personal terms with the Dutch side and just needs Chelsea to agree transfer terms. So he's he's agreed to go basically, and he just needs Chelsea. And it just says the Dutch side. I'm not sure who the team is. Feyenoord, I believe it is here. So what are Feyenoord going to be offering? It says it's surely going to be a sizable fee given his talent and such. I don't think, if Chelsea were to sell him, I don't think it's much more than 10 million, something along those lines. I'd really be surprised if we made that much off of this one. And given that, he plays in that fullback position, for me, he could be useful to us in this next year. Alonso's going. If we're not going to sign, Jonathan Klaus or any of these players that can play as a fullback, we need to have someone else there. And Ian Matson coming through back from loan would be a good option in my opinion, just as a rotation for when Ben Chilwell needs a rest or he can't play because of a little injury, whatever it is. He could be a good option. He's shown some really promising loans. So for me, again, Chelsea, maybe don't let this guy go. See what he can do in pre-season at least first. But that's going to be the end of the video, guys. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like on it, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a future video. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.